Hey, this is Ryan Wallner from Portworx. Today we're going to walk you through the new Portworx Quick Start for Amazon Elastic Container Service for Kubernetes, otherwise known as EKS. So the first thing you can do is head over to the Quick Start architectures for Portworx PX Enterprise at amazon.com. You'll find the Portworx Quick Start listed there. If you click on How to Deploy, we're going to do a new VPC, meaning we're going to create an entirely new VPC with this. This will load up the template for you, so you can click Next. Select at least 3 availability zones recommended by Portworx. You can allow external access, not recommended to use wide open, but for the demo we're going to do that. And some Portworx parameters. We're going to set the size of the volumes backed by GP2 to 20 instead of 100. We click here and click Create and let it go. So at this point, the stack will populate here called Portworx PX Enterprise. If you watch the events, it'll create everything that's needed from the EKS stack to Portworx itself on the EKS stack. This video is going to fast forward a little bit. It does take a little bit to create all the VMs, the VPC, the security groups, and everything. So after a little while, you can see all the EKS stack and Portworx being created. If you go back to the stacks, there should be several listed here, including the Bastion host, the IAM stack, the nodes, the control plane, and so forth. If we refresh, the last stack to get created is going to be the Portworx cluster itself, named Portworx Stack, and that's actually deploying Portworx onto the EKS cluster. Once the main stack is complete and labeled as Create Complete in the status, everything is done and ready to be used. In the outputs, you can see the Bastion IP, which will give you access to kubectl to interact with the Kubernetes cluster. If we pull up a terminal here and SSH using the same key pair we chose when creating the stack, this will take us into a shell inside the Bastion host. Once inside the shell, you have access to kubectl as mentioned. You can get pods, nothing's deployed yet. You can get the nodes to verify we have 3 nodes in our EKS cluster, running 1.11.5. You can get the pods in the kube system, where Portworx will be. You can see the PVC controller, Stork, Lighthouse, etc., all deployed via the stack. You can specifically get the label of name equals Portworx to get 3 Portworx nodes. If we just pull out the pod or one of the pods from Portworx, we can interact with pixctl, the Portworx command line, and get the status of the cluster. Here you can see the cluster is operational and up and has 60 gigabytes of total storage because remember we selected 20 instead of 100, so 20 per node is a total of 60. So great, now we have a Portworx cluster, and now we want to actually deploy something useful to it, right? So the Portworx Quick Start does come with a set of examples. If you open the web browser to the GitHub that contains the code for the Portworx Quick Start, we just grab the URL here. You can navigate to the examples directory where you can click on an example like Cassandra. Grab the raw URL link and you can download this. I'm going to use wget to bring it to my workstation here. Once you have the template, simply go back to the CloudFormation UI, create a new stack, choose the file that you downloaded for Cassandra. This is already set up to work with the Portworx Quick Start, so all you got to do is click Next, add a name. Now there's 2 things you have to add here, which is the kube manifest lambda and the S3 URL to the kubeconfig. If you go back to CloudFormation and you click on the outputs, the S3 location for the kubeconfig that's needed is there, and you can load that into the second box. If you go back to the CloudFormation stack and go to the EKS stack and go to the outputs, the kubemanifest lambda arn is also there, and you can plop that into the first box. The rest of it is optional to change. It's set up with defaults for Cassandra to be set up to work with Portworx. Now click Next. Click Next again. First, we're going to set up a watch on the pods so that we can see as we click Next and the stack deploys Cassandra that it's actually being deployed to our EKS stack. Now create. Great, we can see our stack. It's starting to create. Now let's go back over to our Kubernetes cluster, and boom, Cassandra, the first node is starting to deploy. Soon the second node and the third node will also deploy. First, let's go back. You can see it deploys a whole bunch of things from the stateful set, storage class, the service, and more. Great, there's the second node. There's the third node. Now we have a fully successfully deployed 3-node clustered Cassandra deployment, all done through CloudFormation, backed by Portworx data layer. You can see the stack is created complete here. Now if we go back to our CLI, we can look at the individual volumes with VL, volume list. For PixieCuddle, you can see the 3 volumes here. They're named with PVC and then a UUID. If we get the PVCs, we can also see that Cassandra 0, 1, 2, 3 are mapped to the same names we saw in the PixieCuddle. So this shows that it's backed by Portworx volumes. Thanks for watching.